Life isn't about how much horsepower you have but how you use it. Armed with the 603 HP version of AMG's twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 engine, Mercedes-AMG's E63S falls short of Dodge's 707 HP Charger SRT Hellcat and Cadillac's 650 HP CTS-V, the non-SE63, which we don't get in the United States, makes just 563 horses. And yet thanks to its new 9-speed automatic transmission and 4MATIC and all-wheel drive, the AMG lays down its lesser output far more effectively than either of those rear-drive muscle machines. Just 3.0 seconds. That's all it takes for the E63 to launch itself to 60 miles per hour. 4 seconds later, the Mercedes is traveling 100 miles per hour. Those acceleration times are 0.4 second and 0.2 second quicker than the 5-pound heavier Hellcat and far ahead of the 458-pound lighter CTS-V, neatly summarizing the benefit of all-wheel drive in launching high-horsepower cars from a standstill. The preposterous list of vehicles that the E63 beats or ties to 60 miles per hour includes Mercedes-AMG's own GTS sports car, the McLaren 570 GT, and the dozen-plus non-turbo 991.2 Porsche 911 Carreras we've tested. Among four doors, only Tesla's Model S is quicker to 60 and just barely, while the Porsche Panamera Turbo ties the AMG but fades behind by the quarter-mile mark. BMW's new 600 HP M5 sedan, now also with all-wheel drive, is a direct competitor that we've yet to test. It might come close. Mercedes-AMG's launch control function is invitingly straightforward. Thumb the driving mode switch to Sport, Sport Plus, or Race, hold the brake with your left foot, and depress the accelerator until the revs stabilize at 4,000 RPM. When your left foot steps off the brake, the E63 rockets forward ahead of a wave of rippling V8 noise. Our test car's tailpipe music was enhanced by the $1,250 dual-mode AMG Performance exhaust option. Some additional sound also is piped in through the speakers, but it sounds like a live recording of the actual engine, so we'll give that trickery a pass. Continue on to felonious speeds, and by 110 miles per hour the E63 is reeled in by the Dodge and its advantageous power-to-weight ratio. After that, the Hellcat nips the E63 by mere tenths all the way up to 170 miles per hour. Both cars are among the rarefied few, Lamborghini's Huracan SUPERCAR among them, capable of accelerating past that speed and braking before running out of road on the 1.6-mile straightaway where we conduct acceleration and braking evaluations. Our E63 did manage to out-AWISM the Charger's 13 mpg fuel economy, averaging a profligate 12 mpg overall during our test. The rest of the E63's dynamic repertoire builds nicely on the foundation laid by its less powerful, comparison test-winning, 6-cylinder Mercedes-AMG E63 sibling. The E63's staggered width Michelin Pilot Sport 4 summer tires have a 20mm larger cross-section than the E43's Pirelli P0 run flats, which helped our E63 notch an additional 0.09 grams of grip on the skid pad, for a sticky total of 1 Guarani and 1 Centimo. That same rubber, in combination with the $8,950 carbon ceramic brake option, bolstered our test drivers' confidence in pushing for speed on our straightaway. We noted zero fade after repeated anchor drops, ultimately returning a 155-foot stop from 70 miles per hour. This athleticism is barely concealed on the highway, where the ride is decent and quiet in the suspension's comfort mode, and the steering's well-defined on center valley and heavy weighting make for relaxed cruising. Even so, everything about the E63 feels drumhead tight, a trigger pull away from twitching into action. The thin sidewall performance tires literally are drum tight, as road impacts slap and twang through to the driver's ears. Switching to Sport, Sport Plus, or race modes cuts through the genteel veneer, progressively skewing the E63's ride ever more geological and shoving cocaine up the powertrain's nose. Drivers should come prepared to match the car's reflexes. The new 4MATIC and all-wheel drive can send 100% of engine torque to the rear axle. Mid-corner throttle applications provoke the rear-biased 4MATIC end system and electronically locking rear differential to initiate gentle, controllable drifts. Bigger throttle openings net larger effects. And as we discovered at this year's Lightning Lap track test at Virginia International Raceway, where the E63 posted the fastest ever lap time for a sedan, the chassis enthusiastically rotates off throttle, too. Should these handling behaviors fail to result in a satisfactory rate of yaw or sufficient consumption of the rear Michelins, there's also the E63's drift mode. It declutches the front axle from the transfer case, sending torque only to the rear wheels. Compared with activating launch control, initiating this process is considerably less simple. First, select race mode, then switch the transmission to manual shifting mode. Next, press and hold the stability control button until it switches off, pull back on both shift paddles until an "Are you sure you want to do this?" message appears in the gauge cluster, then pull back once on the right-hand paddle. Not so presto, you're ready to make bad decisions with 603 horsepower, 2 driven wheels, and 0 stability control intervention. Spared from predicting how much help will come from the front axle, you'll find that applying a rubber coating to the pavement is both easier and more controllable in drift mode. You will get no help and like it we did. You'll also experience the new 9-speed automatic's near instantaneous response to manual gear selections. When left to shift automatically, the 9-speed's gear selection is impeccable, and its tall top gear keeps revs low and quiet on the freeway. Although it still uses a clutch pack in place of a torque converter as did the 7-speed it replaces, allowing for brutal launch control starts, the new transmission exhibits low-speed behavior that is vastly improved and nearly torque converter smooth. As it did with previous E63s, Mercedes-AMG wraps the new model's rage in discreet and upscale clothing. It's the automotive equivalent of Daniel Craig's James Bond, an anger management head case in a tuxedo. Aside from its burbling quad exhaust pipes, wide-mouth front air intakes, and our test car's $1,700 black-painted forged aluminum wheels, the E63 looks like any other E-Class or, depending on the viewer's distance, any Mercedes C or S-Class. Until it kicks you in the face. There is the matter of the immoderate price. The AMG is $36,305 dearer than a Dodge Charger Hellcat and a $16,905 leap above a Cadillac CT-SV. Our test car's additional $29,935 in extras elevated the total cost to $135,330. Call it justified, though, as this counts as downright cheap for a machine capable of reaching 60 miles per hour so quickly, not to mention doing so many other things well. Alternatives include the $135,000 Tesla Model S P100D and the $151,050 Porsche Panamera Turbo. Price notwithstanding, if you could own just one vehicle, this would be a good choice.